Hello! Hi everyone! I am back from a camping trip. I was out in Washington with my best friend Haley and had a fabulous time. It was super wet and super rainy, which is not something you necessarily want on a camping trip. But one of the things that I really walked away from my camping trip that basically like everything went wrong. We had planned this camping trip for months. It was like the 3 days that I was going to be there, it was a total torrential downpour. We had to rent cabins. It was this really interesting place and this interesting piece, but we had a really great time together. And I came back and I was reflecting on it, and I talked to a client, and she was saying that she felt like she was in like a friend desert. Like she's like, none of my friends get me. None of my people get me. I'm trying to find my people. And so what I wanted to talk to you about today is how your vibe attracts your tribe. And I got this phrase from Kate Brockhurst, who I will tag down below, who's a fantastic social media angel coach, and she's wonderful. But I just love this phrase because it so encapsulates that just how we attract people into our life. You know, the thing is a lot of times we have to first start with ourselves. What kind of energy do we bring to the table? How do we show up in the world? Sometimes I see people who, and it's really funny, especially when I teach with my mom or teach, I can see people who are sitting in their chairs or even just on the subway or in life, and they just are so closed off. Not interested, like there's just an energetic wall. And I can understand, so okay, we all appreciate our space. But when we are in that space and we're trying to look and connect and find our crew, that is an energy that says go away. So of even starting there, what does your energy say about you? When you show up at a party, when you show up with people, are people excited to see you? How do you feel? What is going on for you? Are you stuck in a lot of self-doubt and fear? You know, because a lot of times that even brings us out of the present moment, and then we're not actually connected to our spirit to even let that beautiful part of ourselves flow. So of really starting with our own vibration, start by doing a vibe check. Where am I today? What's going on for me? What is my vibe? Because our vibration is energy, and that energy is the first way that we meet people in the world. It's their first contact with us. It's even before we say something, our vibe says something about us. We are sensitive people. We pick up on things. So pay attention to how your vibe shows up. You know, second of all, and the thing is when you have a good vibe and when you're in that space, it's contagious and it lights up all the other people around you. And so, for example, Haley and I were on a ferry over in Washington going to the Olympic Peninsula. And there was this gentleman, we had a little picnic lunch, we're sitting eating our snacks, and this little gentleman comes up to us, and he was so excited about our lunch. He was like, what do you guys have? Oh my gosh. These little dolmas, which are, it was like rice wrapped in grape leaves, and they're delicious. They're like great, perfect little snacks. But he just like loved our dolmas, and then he started talking to us about his Vitamix and making hummus, and Christopher was his name. And so Christopher is just so generous of spirit. He was so infectious and warm and kind that I couldn't help but also just feel that warmth. So then my Haley and I go back to our lunch, and all of a sudden, I mean, he was just like a little joy guide. He was just so joyful. He comes popping over and he's like, guys, you gotta check this out. And so Haley and I get up from our lunch and we go over, and this gentleman is having to clean the ferry windows. And because in ferries you can't like roll down the window, what they do is they have like an eraser, and then there's another eraser on a string on the outside, and you use magnets and they stick together, and then you use it to wash the window. And he was just so thrilled and excited about the ways to wash the windows, and invited Haley and I to then wash the windows with him, and took a picture of us. It was like Instagram, and it was just such a beautiful reminder and such a beautiful way of how that open-hearted kindness and generosity, how it really had such a direct impact on us. And I mean, our ferry ride was 15 minutes. It wasn't that big of a deal. We said goodbye to Christopher. He was really sweet, gave us a hug. We got off and head out onto the ferry. And for the rest of the day, we just were infected with his good vibration. We just felt it, and it carried over. And then we go to the supermarket, and then we start chatting with the person there, and they're super wonderful and giving us different samples and different things. So the thing is how we show up. And, it's so easy nowadays where can get really so entrenched in our own world, in our own cell phones, in our own to-do lists, in our own busyness, that sometimes we don't even pay attention to how we affect maybe like the barista at the coffee shop by not even saying like hello or how are you, what's going on. But if we can just even give ourselves a little bit of space, and even just take a moment, a pause, and just actually see people and see them as people, and then just be genuine and just even say a genuine, hi, how are you? Not only that, raise your own vibration, but affects other people. And it's happened so many times. It's really interesting sometimes when I'm out and about, like literally at a coffee shop a lot of times, or any retail store. And I just say, hey, how are you? How are you doing today? And it can snap people out of this place where they're like, wait, people have not even been paying attention. And so we have to be aware of our vibration. We have to be aware of how we show up and how we affect other people. And a lot of times, sometimes we're not feeling so good ourselves. Maybe we need some simple ways to really raise our own vibration. And that's not difficult. It's not difficult to raise your vibration. One of my favorite ways to raise your vibration, which is super easy, is just to smile. Like smiling, and you don't have to walk around like an idiot, like, but really, when you see people, give people a genuine smile. When you make eye contact with somebody, just give them a genuine smile and see how that feels. A lot of times, that vibration, it'll be interesting. You'll meet another smile. Somebody else will smile back at you. That's usually my experience. Even when I lived in France, I studied abroad in France, and I did they had like a cultural crash course. And one of the things that they told me was, as an American, don't smile at people. In France, if you smile all the time, they think that you might have a mental disability or that you're like easy. So, but I'm a smiler. I'm like an American smiler. I come in. And so I would be in France and I would be just smiling at people. And what I actually saw, instead of people trying to approach me or be weird or think I was dumb, it was sort of like they would hold that and then they would also smile. And it would break that vibration. Another really simple way to raise your vibration, and another way that I love to even just like pass the good vibes along in the world, is give people genuine compliments. And that means like if you see somebody out and you really like their pants or their shirt or their hairdo or anything, just by saying and really acknowledging them, because what you're doing is you're witnessing them, and to be witnessed feels good. Even just yesterday, I was at the coffee shop where I work a lot, because I work from home, so somebody's like, gotta get out of here. There was just this little girl, and she had this really cool pink and purple streaks in her hair, and and I just turned to her and I was like, hey, your hair is awesome. And she just lit up. And it was cool, but it was really cool for me because it made me feel good too. So that's another great way to raise your vibe. Another easy way, do something that you love. What is something that genuinely feeds you? Is it planting? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it reading a book? Is it, watching a TV show? Hanging out with somebody that you love? These are genuine ways that we can raise our vibration, especially when we're feeling off. It can really help us to recalibrate. And when we start to pay attention to what our vibe is and be more sensitive to ourselves, we take better care of ourselves. We also are more generous of spirit. It really, and not only that, but it just, like I said, it raises the vibe. It's not difficult. These are little teeny tiny things we can do right now to make things feel more, to open up that heart space. Because when we open up from that genuine heart space and live from here and not from here, like everything opens up. You'll feel the difference. Another thing that and one of my last ones that I'm just going to give you is I love playing. Be playful. Have fun. Be silly. Be weird. Be whatever. Because when you play, you invite people to play with you. You do. You invite people to play in. And one of my favorite stories about this is there was this TED Talk, and there's this gentleman, and he was talking about how he's a photographer. He was a photographer in Alaska. And what he would do is he was photographing these husky dogs from afar. He's actually photographing polar bears who just come out of hibernation, and they're starving and looking for something to eat. And so he's photographing these polar bears, and he sees these husky dogs who are chained up. And he's watching them from afar, and he's like, oh my gosh, this dog is about to be lunch. Like, how sad. But he's just photographing and witnessing the process. And he's watching it, and the bear is coming closer and closer and closer and closer. But the dog gets down in the play position. And if you ever had an animal, it's like when they're like this, and they just get down, and they're like, they get down in this play position. And the dog invited the bear to play with him. And so the bear comes closer thinking that the bear is going to eat the dog. But instead, the bear and the dog started to play together. And it's a really incredible, remarkable series of photographs. I'll link them in the comments below. But just invite people to play with you. We are so serious all the time. And when we get back into that playful space, that's where we connect to our creativity, to our intuition, to our joy, where we can live in the moment. So really, here are just a few simple, easy tools to get you back into that space, to raise your vibration. And if you have any idea, what are your favorite ways to raise your vibration? Let me know in the comments below. I love to hear it. Hi, Justin. Hi. So I just hope that you're having such a beautiful day. Raise those vibrations, spread the good vibes, be a beautiful source of light and fantasticness in the world, because you are. All right. All my love. Bye.